Guys, welcome back to IITC channel. This is Ved Prakash Singh from IITC. Now we are going to see third module of Advanced Water Management, that is groundwater quality. There were a lot of questions regarding how to measure and monitor the groundwater quality, how groundwater quality is managed by the Mother Earth. So today we are going to see in this session all queries asked by you. Now we are going for the presentation. In this module, we are going to see the various topics what you can see in this presentation. We will surely see what do you mean by water quality. What are different parameters of water quality? What do you mean by water quality management? In earlier session, we have seen that uh, water quality management, not groundwater quality management. Now we will see that why the need to manage water quality. That means why there is a need to manage water quality. There are different terms and terminology of the quality. One is salination, second is eutrophication, third is micropollutants, next is microbiological pollutants, and erosion and sedimentation. We are going to see all this terminology one by one to clarify you what is the need to manage the water quality. Now next is why water quality is managed and for whom it is being managed. It is for you, for me, for society, for industries, or by for society by and large. So we will see it. The underlying principle of groundwater quality management. We will see that what are the underlying principle so that we can manage groundwater quality. Correct? And we will also see the risk assessment, which has how do aquifer becomes polluted, what are the various sources of pollution of the aquifers. Definitely we will see the groundwater pollution, how the groundwater pollution happens by urban region, by rural region, by agriculture region, by industrialization, by many more. How is groundwater quality measured and monitored? This was the question by the audience yesterday, that how groundwater quality is measured and monitored. This is very beautiful and smart question. We will see in this session protecting groundwater from pollution. How we can protect groundwater pollution against all the sources. What does groundwater pollution protection involve? What are different steps, different techniques so that we can protect groundwater pollution? Urban wastewater and groundwater quality. We will see that what is the wastewater quality in urban area and the groundwater quality in the urban area. How does urban wastewater relate to the groundwater? This is a very important aspect. How the groundwater is polluted through the urban activities. Groundwater quality management. We will see in general how to manage groundwater quality. Guys, as usual, I have request from you to subscribe the channel to receive the regular update on time to time basis, and please press the bell icon so that you can get notification. Nevertheless, you can send this link to your professional friends, your colleagues who has not attended this program, to go through so that they can also understand the groundwater pollution, groundwater quality, groundwater quality measurement and monitoring. Guys, in this session, definitely we will see what we have discussed earlier in the index. We will see the various indicators of groundwater quality and their measurement. What are the various indicators? and how it is being measured. Different national standards. We have got IS 10500 for potable water and others that we will see. Probably we will not discuss in length, but yes, we will. Impact of negative groundwater quality. What is the impact of poor groundwater quality? Drivers and controls of groundwater quality. We will see that what are the initiative, what are the control measures so that we can protect groundwater quality. We can prevent groundwater pollution. Guys, now we are able to see the main objective of this module. In fact, we are going to see the main module. The main objective is provide guidance on identification of threats to groundwater quality. Identification the threats. Those threats which are responsible for groundwater quality, we need to identify. And then after identifying the threats to water quality, then we will see how to assess those threats. And after assessing the threats, we need to find out the control measures, preventive measures, how we can prevent groundwater quality. You agree with me? Now we are going to see introduce management tools and a strategy that may be used to either avoid or reduce such threats. That means introduce the control measures so that we can prevent or we can reduce or we can avoid such threats to realize, and hence we can prevent groundwater pollution. Correct? Guys, now we are going to see what is the water quality. What do you mean by water quality? Water quality is simply meaning is physical, chemical and biological characteristics of water. Now, how to measure the physical characteristics, how to measure chemical characteristics, and how to measure biological characteristics of water. These are the different things we will see in this module or in the another module. These are either this physical, chemical, biological. These are either dissolved or suspended solid in water. Right? Now, what is the mean by water quality management? What do we really mean by water quality management? As we know that water quality means there is a physical property, chemical property, or biological property of water. Now, let us understand in detail. Normally, water quality varies from location to location, place to place, terrain to terrain, country to country, city to city. This is naturally because earth varies from location to location and type of soil varies from location to location, and there are different deposits in the earth crust location to location. So that is why water quality varies from location to location. In some area you might have heard that there is a rich iron in the water. Why? Because of the mine minerals in this area. Because there is iron, and because of iron, the ions are more in the water. So that is why we are saying that water quality varies from place to place due to following reasons. Let us see the reasons. Seasonal changes. Maybe the seasonal changes are different from place to place. Maybe climatic changes. Maybe you have more high summer use. Heavy summer. You have light summer. There is a severe cold. There is a light cold. There is aggressive rainfall or monsoon. There is a less monsoon. Which with the type of soil, as we mentioned that every location has different type of soils. If you see in India, soil of north vary from soil of east, may vary from soil of west, may vary soil of south. So the water quality also depends on soil to soil. Sometimes there are rocks in the soil. So because of the rocks, the quality of water will change. Surface through which it moves. Sometimes on the upper surface or in the inner surface, the water moves. So these all are the reasons why water quality varies from place to place, location to location. This is a natural process. Water quality may also vary from place to place due to other human activities. You can say how human activity can change the water quality in the ground. There are relationship between the water quality and the human activities. Say for example, agriculture activities. Agriculture activities may also have the reasons to change the water quality. Say for example, in agriculture land, we are using different kind of insecticides, pesticides, and microchemicals. So these microchemicals have responsibility to change the water quality. And agriculture land has got high and huge porosity. This may also be responsible for the water quality variance. Urban activities. In urban activities, probably you have RCC roads everywhere, and you also have some waste generation, and this waste is being stored in the waste stored yard, and that area is poorly managed. So the leachate, what is being collected from this water wastage collected from urban area, may be responsible for water quality. Industrial activity. In the industrial zone, in such, because of different kind of activities, there are different kind of chemical formulation, different kind of chemical activities, and because of that the water quality may also vary. Because in industry generates waste. Industry generates waste effluent. This waste effluent is treated, and after that it is discharged to the to the drainage or in natural way. Probably there is a possibility in the industrial area there are some storage tank of chemical, of oil, of different kind of hydrocarbons. The bottom plate of the tank is leaking, and this tank is leaking. That means this is going and percolating into the ground, and that is responsible for different water quality. So that is why industrial development is also responsible for different water quality. Mining and recreation. You may be knowing that in some area there are coal mines, iron mine, bauxite mines, and the water quality varies due to mining and recreation activities. That is why I am saying that in some area you feel that there is a lot of zinc in the water, lot of aluminum in the water, lot of iron is in water. This is not because of other things. This is because of the nature of land, nature of soil. Potentially significantly alter the quality of nature of water. Potentially significantly alter the quality of natural waters and changes the water use potential. This is also responsible for different water quality from place to place. I hope if you go and think differently, you will understand that these all are the man-made activities which are responsible for different water quality in the different zones, place to place. Now we will understand what do we really mean by water quality management. Water quality management is really a big and complex subject. Let us understand the definition in very straight, simple language. The keys to sustainable water resource is to ensure that quality of water resources are suitable for their intended use. That means water quality should be suitable or water resources should be suitable for their intended use, while at the same time allowing them to be used and developed to a certain extent. That means we need to see that the water quality of the water resources are suitable for their intended use. Say, for example, if the water quality is not suitable for the industries, if water quality is not suitable for society, if water quality is not suitable for the agriculture, so that water is not good for me. So that means this quality of water is not suitable. So, we need to ensure that it is sustainable and so that quality of water resources are suitable for their intended use. And at the same time, allow them to be used and developed to a certain extent. I hope you agree with me, right? Again, we see that water quality management involves the maintenance of the reservoir, fitness for use of the water resources, and on sustainable basis, and by achieving a balance between socio-economical development and environment protection. So guys, I mean, we water quality management means we need to ensure that water is fit for the use and it on sustainable basis. It is not, I mean, fit for use for for some point of time, but after that, there's no water. That means we need to ensure in a such a way that uh, the water resources, water reservoir is fit for use for sustainable period, for sustainable basis, and um, it is to ensure that balance is achieved between social economical development and economical protection, environmental protection. That means we need to ensure that socio economical development is happening, and we need to also see that environment protections are there. We don't need to exploit the environment. So this is what is the water quality management. First thing is quality for water is fit for the purpose and for sustainable period, and we need to make a balance between socio-economic development and environmental protection. Correct? We should they are complementary of each other. If there is a social economical development and what environment protection is ignored, it is not balanced. We need to see both sides of the coin, so we need to balance between both side of coins. So we need to see the socio-economical development is there, and same time I am not exploiting the environment. Correct? So guys, what we have seen so far, we have seen the water quality management in different perspective. In perspective of the management, that we need to ensure the water is fit for the use and sustainable, and then same time we need to achieve the balance between socio-economical and the environment protection. Now, in terms of regulatory point of view, water quality management means the process of planning, development, implementation, and administration of water quality management policy. If we are able to ensure all these 4 points, what we are able to see: planning, development, implementation, and administration of water quality management policy. We need to plan something so that water quality is managed. We need to ensure that there is development, but at the same time there is no exploitation of the environment. We need to see that whatever the plan we have done, that has to be implemented, and we need to ensure that water quality management policies are implemented. Correct? This is with respect to the administrative point of view. In terms of regulatory point of view, guys, now we will see that why there is a need to manage good water quality or manage water quality. So we can see that there are following reasons to manage good water quality. First thing is effect of polluted water is on human health. We have seen that there is diarrhea, vomiting, other health effect in previous module, right? And second, effect of polluted water is on aquatic ecosystem. Entire ecosystem is unbalanced if we don't have the good water quality, like aquatic biota and in stream and riparian habitats, and effect of polluted water on various sectors of economic, including agriculture, industry, and recreation. So that means if you don't ensure the good quality of water, it affect the health of society. It unbalance the aquatic ecosystem, and it also disturbs the economic, including agriculture, industries, and recreation. Say for example, in industry you need some certain quality of water, and if you don't have that quality of water, what will happen? There is unnecessary cost of the water treatment. So with this, there is a increase in cost per unit production. So this should not create an imbalance. This should be balanced. That is why good water quality is very important for socio-economical benefit, for health point of view, for societal benefit, for industrial growth, for recreation, even for agriculture. Because we have seen that agriculture of India is highly dependent on groundwater. Correct? Guys, there are other reasons why we need to ensure good water quality. So, deteriorated water quality will affect the cost of production in the industry due to the increased treatment cost of potable water and industrial water. So this increased treatment cost of potable water and industrial water will impact the production cost. It will increase the unit production cost, and decreased poor water quality will decrease agricultural yield due to increased salinity of irrigation water. I hope you agree, right? So that means we cannot use any water for agriculture. So that is why you see that in spite of there are some water in the ground in some area, but we cannot do agriculture. Increased health, productivity, ecological problem with poor water quality. So these are also one of the reason for managing the good water quality. Correct? Guys, there are many other reasons for good quality. Many water quality related problems are inherent in geological characteristics of the source area. As we explained earlier that if there's a iron ore, if there's an iron mine, there's a coal mines, there's a bauxite mines. So these there the water source, water quality is different. The occurrences, transport, and fate in the aquatic environment of numerous persistent and toxic metal and organic compounds, say for example pesticide, have given cause for serious concern. There are pesticide, insecticides used heavily in agriculture. This has got serious concern on the human health. Contamination of ground resources or sediments deposition in the riverbed. So contamination of water resources and the sediments which deposition in the riverbed. This creates problem, and this will may avoid the water percolation or water level upgradation in the ground. Impoundment and estuaries by toxic and persistent compound can cause irreversible pollution. Irreversible, you cannot reverse the pollution. Sometimes long after original release to the environmental has ceased. So guys, there is importance of good water quality. We have seen that we have to manage socio-economical balance versus environment protection. We should not ignore each other. They are the complementary point of each other. They are complementary. They are both sides of the coin. We have to balance both side of coin together. Now we will see that major quality concern, as we have discussed during the index of this module. Salination, we say eutrophication. We will also discuss micropollutants. We will discuss microbiological pollutants. We will see erosion and sedimentations. These all 5 points are very essential to ensure the water quality, and these are the major concern for ensuring the water quality. Eutrophication is the process by which an entire body of water or parts of it becomes progressively enriched with mineral nutrients, particularly nitrogen and phosphorus. We will see it. In the next slide. As we see, the salination is one of the first, point what we need to see to ensure the good water quality. A persistent water quality problem is salination. It is a persistent water problem. Two major causes for salination are natural and anthropogenic. There are two reasons for salination, right? And one is natural we don't have control, and anthropogenic we have control. What is anthropogenic? Anthropogenic is something that is made by humans. Anthropogenic, we are responsible for making this. An example for something that could be considered anthropogenics are excessive greenhouse gases. So we are responsible for greenhouse gases. So this is anthropogenic. So as we mentioned that two major reasons for salination is one is natural, one is anthropogenic, that means man-made, and we do not have control on natural. We don't have control on the nature. So let us control on anthropogenic activities. The origin of natural salination of river water is geological. Natural salination of the river water is definitely geological, and we do not have much control on that. Sometimes you see that river beds are changing. Sometimes the river beds are moving from one place to another place. Sometimes flood is other side of the river, and this side flood is this side of the river. This is because of natural salination. Man-made causes for salinations are many. Increased release of salts. We are increasing lot of salts due to the industrial activity, due to the social activity. Discharging of water containing waste by industries. We are discharging a lot of water, unfortunately, many times or sometimes without treatment. Now, pollution control boards are strict and we are capturing each and everything so that before discharging into the river, we need to treat it as per the prescribed limit of the water. Diffused pollution, pollution which are added into the water, like agriculture land. In agriculture, we are adding pesticide, insecticide, all of the chemicals. So we are diffusing the pollutants in the environment. We are diffusing pollutants in the water. Waste disposal on the land and mines residue deposit. We dispose of the waste, urban waste, industrial waste, and without a proper, waste management plan. Without proper, without proper impervious layer. So this is affecting our on salination. The effect of diffused pollution on the ground is also one of often problematic in the terms of remediation. See guys, diffused pollution to reverse it, it is a very difficult. Remediations are very problematic and very difficult. It is a long process. Please do not underestimate this. Guys, now we are going to see eutrophication. Eutrophication is a major water quality issues that is known for years, and now eutrophications is one of the major reason because of the industrialization and plant growth. Eutrophication is enrichment of water with plant nutrients is nitrate and phosphate. Growth of microscopic greens plants like algae. This is the major issues in the water because you cannot remove the odor, you cannot, have the good taste. Nutrients are present in the sewer effluent. The problem is accelerated where there is a high concentration of human or animal waste. Because of high concentration of human and animal waste, there is a nutrient persistent in the sewage effluent. And algae causes problem in the water purification. For example, undesired taste and odor, and a possible production of trihalomethanes or other potential carcinogenic products in the water that is treated with chlorine for potable purpose. So you can understand eutrophication is such a important and vital, reasons for water quality issue. And this is nothing but it is a rich water with plant nutrients, nitrates and phosphate. Micropollutants. Micropollutant pollution by metal and man-made organic compound such as pesticides. So guys, see we are responsible for micropollutants. See metal, we are producing a lot of metals. There are alloys, and we are also producing organic compound such as pesticide, insecticide. These are micropollutants, and once some of the micropollutant is diffused in the land, in the water, the reversing is very difficult. Remediation is very challenging. The serious incidents of health impact to man and animal have occurred at the place throughout the world through uncontrolled exposure of these micropollutants. We have seen that there are irreversible health impact on the animal and man. And this has happened not only in India, everywhere in the world because of this heavy metal and other micropollutants in the water. Micropollutants tend to highly localized and associated with specific industries or activities. This micropollutants does not migrate. It is very specific, very local as per the industrial activity and human activity. Mining activities often expose pyrite containing rocks forming to air and water to produce the acid rock drainage. So acid rock drainage, you can see that. This mining activities normally does this kind of pyrite containing rocks formation. So these micropollutants, once it is, diffused in the, water, in the groundwater, reversing it, remediating it is very difficult. Due to low pH of acid rock drainage, heavy metals are mobilized. Due to low pH, if the pH is 3, 4, what will happen? Heavy metal will mobilize from one place to another place because these are, disintegrated. And heavy metals mobilizes, heavy metals are very poisonous, like mercury, like lead, They are very poisonous. We know it. Biological pollutants. These pollutants refers to a non-intended or accidental introduction of infectious material. Unintended or accidental release of infectious material like bacteria, yeast, mold, fungi, virus, prions, protozoa, or their toxins or byproducts are added into the water. It may be it is not an intentional, it is not intended, or it is accidental. And sometimes people introduce it by ignorance, by mistake. Water contaminated by facial matter is responsible for to spread the diseases such as dysentery, cholera, vomiting, typhoid. See, water contents with facial matters. That means if sewage are not getting treated, and if these waters are being used for dust suppression, I have seen in many places the water half treated waters are used for dust suppression on the road. That is not good, because this will ultimately spoil your water quality, and which is responsible for dysentery, cholera, and typhoid. Microbes cause infectious disease such as flu and measles. So, I mean, this ultimately, who is responsible for this? We are responsible. We human are responsible. Due to the human activities, these microbiological pollutants are getting added, getting diffused into the water. Guys, I am going a little faster. If you have any question, please put your comments, your query in the comment section. I will ensure that you get the complete answer. Erosion and sedimentation. Because of rain, because of for deforestation, loss of fertile agricultural soil. Topsoils are being run away, being washed away due to the rain, and this is going in the riverbed. Offsite damages like loss of valuable reservoir storage, sediment damage during the flood, and increased water treatment cost and have been largely ignored. So these are the another cause for water and groundwater pollution. And who is responsible for this? We human beings. We are doing deforestation, we are doing urbanization, we are doing industrialization. Ultimately, who will pay the cost? We will pay the cost. Now we are going to see who is water quality being managed for, why we need to manage the water quality, and for whom. So guys, this water quality is being managed for me, for you, for us, for society, for industries, for agriculture, for city, for country. So for everyone who is here on this mother earth, we need to protect the quality of water for them, for ourselves. Alright? The underlying principle of groundwater quality management is number one, management of water quality must be carried out in an integrated and holistic manner. We should not go for bits and pieces. We must do in integrated and holistic manner. Acknowledging that all the elements of environments are interrelated. So we must do, the water quality management in integrated and holistic manner, not in bits and pieces and with partial uh, 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 sincerity. And we have to acknowledge that all the elements of environments are interrelated. Decision making must ensure that best practicable environmental option is adopted by taking account of all aspects of environment, including all people in the environment. So we need to ensure that to ensure the good quality of water for groundwater quality management, best practicable environment option is adopted, identified, and selected. The precautionary approach of water quality management applies to avert or minimize potential risk of undesirable impact on the environment. So, guys, these are the underlying principle of groundwater quality management. These things we have to ensure, remember, while we are doing groundwater quality management. So, underlying principle of groundwater quality management is also, in general, in principle, polluter should pay. I do not know how far our Indian regulations are emphasizing on this. I have seen one notification issued by Maharashtra Pollution Control Board in terms of non-compliance of CTE or CTO conditions, then the polluter will pay, the violator will pay. So this should be the system, and responsibility of polluter is cost of remedying pollution is the part of polluters. Cost of degradation of resources, resource quality is the part of polluter. Cost of consequence to adverse health effect, this is part of polluter. Cost of prevention, minimization, and controlling pollution is the part of polluters. That means we need to, as a regulator, our regulator has to give the responsibility and has to tell that polluter pays. If you are polluting the environment, you have to pay to reverse it back to the normal situation. Either it may be remedifying pollution, or it may be cost of degradation of resource quality, or it is a consequence of adverse effect, or it is a prevention, minimization, and control of pollution. Participative management in management of water quality must be advocate, ensuring that all interested and affected parties and previously disadvantaged persons have an equal opportunity to participate. So we can also say that what has gone in the past has to be implemented. Those people who have been suffering from the pollution should also be a part of this system. Guys, in the beginning, we mentioned that we are going to do a risk assessment and the hierarchy of water quality management decision making tool. So, decision regarding the water quality management should be made in terms of hierarchy of principles, hierarchy of controls, hierarchy of decision making. And hierarchy of decision making tool is given below. On the basis of this pyramid, we have to take decision. First thing, pollution prevention principle have to be the first hierarchy of decision making. So we need to have the first is how to prevent the pollution. Second thing, waste minimization. Can we see how to reduce the waste? Then next we can see that precautionary principle. What are the precautionary measures? If you are not able to prevent the pollution, if you are not able to minimize the waste, what are the precautionary principle? We need to see before taking decision. And the last but not least is differentiation principle. So this wise, the first is pollution prevention principle. We need to prevent the pollution in first place. Second is waste minimization. The third is precautionary principle. Third is differentiation principle. In this way, we have to take decision so that our water quality management is maintained. Now, guys, as we discussed that risk assessment is very essential part to understand the water quality management to prevent water quality pollution. So how do aquifer become polluted? There is a water aquifers underneath of the ground. Aquifers may become polluted maybe because of many reasons. First thing is waste pond. Because of waste pond is there, and this waste pond water is shipping in the aquifer. So your aquifer is polluted. Your effluent discharge from the factory. There are many places the factory discharge, factory effluent discharge are in open place. Now it is controlled by pollution control boards in all state pollution control board. I have heard this news way back in 90s that people of industries in industrial region of Vatva area, Naroda area, Narol area, after producing their product, they used to pour this effluent inside the borewell. So ultimately they were polluting the aquifer. So this effluent discharging is from the factory is also one of the reason for polluting the aquifer. Mining activity. We do a lot of mining. We don't care about the aquifers. So this mining activity is also one of the reason for aquifer pollution. They become polluted by diffused pollution such as application of agriculture fertilizer and pesticides. In agriculture, we say that we are agriculture dependent country, and we use a lot of pesticide, lot of insecticide. Probably they are banned, they are not banned. Who knows it? So ultimately, we are diffusing pollution in the environment knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, and we do not know what is going to be the impact of this pollution, this diffused pollution. This is irreversible. Our remediation process is a long process. Groundwater may also become polluted through the wellhead contamination. So sometimes in the village we do a drilling, we do put a bore well. Probably bore well size is not insulated. is not constructed well, is not, sealed well. So this poor water is going inside the aquifer with the help of the pipe side, and this is polluting the bore aquifer. So this is because of poor sanitation, poor awareness, poor knowledge. Even I was not knowing before I become, environmentalist. So if I do not know becoming an engineer, how can I expect my farmers? How can I expect my society people to know? So this is our duty. This is duty of government. This is duty of civilized people. This is duty of urbanized people. This is our duty. This is our duty to pay to the country. So we need to educate people. So we are into right stream. We are getting education. We are getting awareness. Now it is our responsibility to train people, to educate people for preventing the aquifer pollution. In summary, if you see that if you see that aquifer in summary if you see that aquifer may be polluted by point source discharge or from diffused pollution. There are locations, there are points, we do a point source discharge, and this point source goes in the aquifer, and this pollutes entire aquifer. Typically, aquifer becomes polluted when pollution is inadequately controlled and exceeds the natural attenuation capacity of the ground. So ground has got their own capacity of attenuation. But if the pollutants becomes higher than the attenuation capacity of the ground, then it starts polluting. So guide, we need to ensure that typical aquifer becomes polluted when it is inadequately controlled. Now, groundwater quality management requires the assessment of the pollution hazards and risks too. We need to ensure that pollution hazards and risks is identified to groundwater, delineation of groundwater vulnerability zones, control of effluent discharge, for example, by a safe, safe system of permit, construction of contaminant structure like lined waste pond in order to avoid the reduced water pollution. This wastewater should not go inside the ground. We should have impervious layer to treat it, to evaporate it. So guys, this is our responsibility to prevent aquifer pollution by natural, by man-made activities. Guys, groundwater pollution, just because the water is underground, it does not mean it cannot be polluted. Guys, this soil is porous. If we do any activity on the surface of the ground, ultimately, sooner or later, it has impact. It will receive, it will seep in the south, inside the ground, inside the aquifer. Groundwater associated with the coal deposits often contain dissolved mineral poisonous to plant and animals. Dissolved, which is hazardous to plants and animals, even for human life. Pollutants dumped in the ground, in the landfills, at the site of, or pollutants introduced below ground, such as unlined latrine burial site, may leak into the soil, work their way down to the aquifers. So anything and everything what we do on the ground in the landfill area, we introduce the pollutant inside the ground without lining. So unlined latrine burial site, it will leak into the soil, it will go into the aquifer, it will pollute the aquifer. So these are the reason for aquifer pollutions. Guys, now I would request you to please see the picture, and you can see the groundwater can be contaminated in many ways. What are you able to see? Are you able to see a truck mounted with a tank, and there is a sprinkler, and this sprinkler is spreading the water? Do you see this is a pure water, or this is contaminated water, or this is a waste water? It may be industrial water. So we are pouring this waste water on the ground. This contaminated water is going on the agricultural land, probably. I do not know. I have taken the photos from the Google for the education purpose point of view. The improper use of contaminated water, and people who are throwing this water, they are innocent, ignorant, probably they are making money. They do not understand that they are knowingly, unknowingly, they are putting themselves in danger. Probably they are living away, but they are putting themselves, their generation, their successor in danger. What you are able to see the truck, you are able to see the crops. Excessive use of pesticide, herbicide in the fertilizers. Guys, I want more yield, high yield in my farm. I use all hazardous toxic chemical, pesticide, insecticide, herbicide, so that I can grow the maximum yield. Do we know what is the impact going to happen after several years? Are we going to get carcinogen? Are we going to get cancer? Are we going to suffer from the health effect? People do not know. I would say that let us educate the people. Let us and let us aware the people. Let us be educated, and we are responsible person of our country. We should educate people. We are supposed to intervene. Here, what you see, this is the industry, this is the tank, and this tank is a fuel tank and chemical tank, and this is leaking. This leaking fuel tank and chemical tank are kept on the ground without impervious layer. This chemical will spill, this will percolate on the ground, this will seep in the ground, and it will spoil the aquifers after long run, not in 1 day, 2 days. This will be 5 year, 6 year programs. Industrial emission. Can it pollute the environment? Yes, you are the environmentalist. You know SOx NOx. This SOx NOx, when rain season will happen, this will have acid rain. This acid rain will come in the ground. This will go into the, flow of the water. This will go into the ground. This will seep in the ground, and this will ultimately affect the aquifer. Haven't I? Do you understand? I hope you agree with me, right? Okay, guys. Drainage of household chemicals. We use a lot of toilet cleaners. We use lot of surface cleaner. We use very good disinfectant. What is going to happen? Ultimately, we are draining these chemical in our washroom. This will go in the STP plant. Probably this is treated. Unfortunately, if these are not treated, what will happen? Ultimately, this is going to come back to us. This will go in the ground. This will spoil the aquifer. We will take the water from the ground bore well, and ultimately this will come back to us. My friends, what we give to Earth is very smart, very intelligent. Mother Earth will give it back to us. Industrial chemical spill. There are a lot of oil spill in the sea. There are a lot of chemical spill on the earth, and these spills we don't decontaminate. We put it. It is naturally biodegrade. No, some or most of the things are biodegrade, but few will go inside the aquifer. Ultimately, this will pollute the aquifer groundwater. My friend, be careful. Badly managed landfill. You see, we see big and big hips in the landfill. We feel this is very good, very safe. But guys, these are very poorly managed landfill. Probably it does not have, impervious layer. All the toxic water lichet will go inside the ground. It will go in the aquifer. It will contaminate with the aquifer. Ultimately, we are extracting the aquifer water. Ultimately, this is going to come back to us. Right, guys? Everything what we'll give to our Mother Earth will smartly, patiently will give back to us. Guys, you will see here how the monitoring well is constructed. This picture I have adopted from the geologic resources.com. You can see here, this is the bedrock, and we have a protective casing over the well. We have cement surface sill so that no wastewater can go inside the aquifer. We have got clean sand so that if any debris sediment goes, it will not allow to go. Bentonite seal. Bentonite seal will never allow anything to go beyond this one. Filter pack. These are the filter packs, and this is well screen, and this is the aquifer. This is unsaturated overburden. So this is how we need to install the monitoring well, and then only we can measure as a proactive before the plant is installed there, so that we can establish a baseline data for groundwater pollution. If we install this monitoring well after the plant is installed, we do not know how much pollution has been incurred during installation of well. Guys, now we are going to see protecting groundwater from pollution. So management of groundwater quality requires both. First thing is protect of aquifer or protection of aquifer and underground from ingress of pollutants. First thing, we should not allow any ingress of pollutant to the aquifer. Second thing, remediation or treatment of polluted resources. We need to identify which aquifers are polluted. We need to remediate it. We need to treat it so that pollution can be removed. It is very tedious process. It should be noted that treatment of pollution of groundwater is very tedious, complex, and very expensive process. And oftenly or many times it is partially successful. We can never ever reverse it back 100% because Mother Earth is very intelligent. Mother Earth can filter water. From highly hazardous to the non-toxic with time. But we human we cannot filter entire water. It takes many years of treatment before groundwater quality can be reversed back or restored. Groundwater quality can range from high to low quality potable water and very toxic also sometimes at some location. So mind it, it is not very easy to have a groundwater management. It is not very easy to clean the groundwater. It has two elements. It is a protecting ingress of pollutants and remediating or treatment of groundwater aquifers. Protecting groundwater from pollution. Groundwater protection and remediation, these are two major parameters for protecting groundwater from pollution. Second thing, matching use of different water, different quality of water with different users. Some users may need high TDS, some users may need low TDS. This is only example. Some user does not care about the TDS. So you supply the water depends on the user. Blending of different water qualities to provide larger groundwater resources. See, we have different aquifers. We have different quality of aquifers. We have different quality of water, and we have to blend the water so that we can achieve right quality of water to supply to the users, so that there is no issues. This is smart, intelligent, tedious job. But yes, what to do? We have spoiled our mother earth, our water reservoir, our aquifers. So we have to do it to sustain it, to survive it. Now, guys, we are able to see the two key aspects to carry out the risk assessment. First thing is assessment of aquifer pollution vulnerability. Second is mapping of groundwater pollution hazards. So pollution vulnerability and groundwater pollution hazards. These 2 points will give us groundwater pollution risk matrix, risk map, and this is how you can generate risk map, and then you can start using the groundwater. This is possibly this is authority jobs because we don't have we as an industrialist, we as a industrial people, we are not equipped with those kind of equipment. This is a part of government administration, probably government of India, state government may be doing this kind of jobs. So we need to find out from where we can get the risk what groundwater pollution risk map. Guys, once we generate the risk matrix are very useful for us. The risk matrix will help groundwater quality monitoring to assess actual groundwater quality status and changes to the quality over time. This will help us what is the actual quantity and how it is behaving over a period of time. Prohibition of certain activities in sensitive or vulnerable zone. So after knowing the risk assessment, after knowing the risk of the groundwater, we can prohibit some activity in the sensitive or vulnerable zone. Prohibiting the disposal of certain level of waste except in sealed facility. So if we know the risk, if you know the water groundwater pollution map, risk map, then we can prohibit disposal of certain level of waste. Then it will also have management of both quality and quantity of effluent and waste disposal by a series of permits. So if we know the risk matrix, if you know the where the water is vulnerable, if you know where the water is risky, then we can have some certain level of permits. Monitoring of compliance with regulations and forms. So this will help, managing this. So these are the benefits of groundwater risk matrix or map. What does groundwater pollution protection involves? Establish simple and robust zone with indications of which activities are permissible and possible. So this is one of the activity, the how to protect groundwater pollution. Second, such zone need to be incorporated into the town city planning map and legislation and used to guide various developments. This guidelines has to be defined, has to be clearly mentioned, and such zone has to be identified, and this has to be incorporated and updated in township and city planning map so that we can prevent various development activity. Such zones have a key role in setting priorities for groundwater quality monitoring. Environmental auditing can help to reduce the cost of producing groundwater quality maps. So these are the various elements how we can protect groundwater pollution. Guys, now we are going to discuss a very important point. Groundwater protection zones are simple but very powerful tool for protecting important groundwater resources. We must know we must have groundwater protection zone and restriction on various activities are imposed depending on the zone. If my zone is vulnerable, uh, we as administrator our administrator have to restrict various activity so that groundwater is protected, typically based on the flow time to the abstraction point. The sample ground water prioritization zone is here. This sample only. So you can see this is a bore well. You can see that 20 meter from the bore well wellhead operation zone. This is the only operation zone. And from here 200 meters from here to here is sanitary inspection zone. This is a sanitary inspection zone, and this is a 50 days. After 50 days we have to do a microbiological protection area here. Then 500 days we have to do this microbiological protection area. This 10 years total resource captured area, and this is also total resource captured area. This is empirical fixed ready status, intermediate flow time parameters, and sometimes used. Correct? This is sample groundwater protection zone. This is basically a responsibility and jobs of the government of regulator. This, I'm trying to explain you how you can make a groundwater protection zone. This is one of the example. You can use this slide to train your people, to educate your team, to educate your municipality, to educate your society. Guys, in summary, this zone, land use, effluent discharge, and waste disposal practices must all be managed in order to protect aquifer against pollution. Ultimate aim is to making this zone is we have to protect the pollution of the aquifers. Simple and robust zone need to be established with indicator of which activities are permissible or possible or allowed or not allowed in this zone. So by doing this, we can, in a long point of time, in longer run, we can prevent pollution of the aquifer. These are the nutshell why we need to make a, zone. Urban wastewater and groundwater quality. Urban wastewater may be considered as a special case for groundwater quality management point of view. The reason is very simple because the wastewater generated from the urban area cannot be avoided. It is universal and it is always growing in the volume from time to time in all cities. Urban wastewater contains real hazards in terms of bacterial pathogens, in terms of industrial waste, in wide range of organic and inorganic compound or substances. So that is why there is a need to treat urban water differently for protecting our pollution for our aquifers. Guys, now how does urban wastewater relate to the groundwater? There is steadily increasing wastewater generation by the most of the cities, most of the township, and the management of this wastewater is significant problem in all cities. Unfortunately, in many sewage system discharging to directly to the ground, to the surface, and with minimum treatment and with minimum dilution. And this water, when it is thrown to the surface, most of the water is being evaporated, and few will go into the aquifer, and it will spoil the pollution. It will pollute the aquifer. Infiltration through the ground improves the wastewater quality and store it for the future use, but can also pollute the groundwater. So these are the typical inherent problem of the groundwater for the urban area. Guys, I think almost we have completed the groundwater quality, and I hope it was useful for you. There are few exercise and tasks what you can go through line by line, and you can do for yourself, for your industry, for your area, as per your wish. Let me read it for you. Are you aware of any significant groundwater quality issue in your company? Okay. Second, give examples of groundwater pollution in your company. How can it be avoided in future environment? Very good question. Number three, what controls over groundwater pollution do you have? Are they effective? If you have control measures, are they effective? Who maintain groundwater protection zones in your region? Are there any reform that you would recommend? Yes, I think after this training, you must recommend some reforms. What happens to wastewater from your city? Do you know what happens after its treatment? Identify a common ground quality problem in one of your country. Probably you can identify one groundwater quality problem in your country. What would you change to improve the management of the problem? What do you think of natural groundwater quality? Do you think it should or not be treated before consumption? Please state your reasons. So I mean to say that you go through that, you understand, and try to provide some feedback. So guys, I hope you liked the subject, and this was useful for you. And with this, I would like to thank you guys, and I would request you to please explore our website so that you can get much more information. With this, thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you very much.